Hi everyone, so I just wanted to do you as a little treat. We're going to do an energetics for every sign, okay? So you can check timestamps below, like the video, comment, show support. It can be liking the video, showing support, commenting, saying hello, joining the membership, whatever, right? So my peeps, my peeps, my peeps. So let's take a look. We're going to go straight in. Like I said, if you want to go straight to your sign, check it out below. If you want to check someone else's sign. So what are we seeing for Capricorn? Okay, what are the energies here? So we do have the Empress reverse. So I feel like a message for Capricorn at this time is something you're doing is devaluing yourself. So often the Empress reversed is someone who's not practicing self-love, they're not looking after themselves, they might be putting other people at the expense of themselves. So I feel like some of you Capricorns, there's something that you need to change. There's a decision that you need to make. Some of you, it's a life change. So what we mean by this is sometimes we're stuck in our lower version. Sometimes we're just not living, abundant, or we're not living in our best self. So you've got a lot of options available to you. For the Capricorns who maybe you're dealing with like a masculine, who maybe this person's got multiple options, it's time to value yourself. It's time to value your time. It's time to value your life. If your life is stagnant, right? If you're kind of just sitting there going, it's the same shit, different day, it's time to change it. Okay. So what I would say for Capricorn at this time is your energy is being wasted in some way. Now, this doesn't have to be anybody else. Maybe you're sabotaging yourself. The Empress reversed is often doing things that are either codependent, destructive, maybe your life is too focused in one area. But the Seven of Cups is you've got a lot of options available to you. For some of you Capricorns who are stuck in a rut, this is just time. In other words, you have the power. Some of you need to work on your sacral chakra. Check out my readings on the website because there's amazing reads if you're struggling. But some of you need to work on your womb. So sometimes when we're in the Empress reversed and we're chasing after a relationship or we're devaluing ourselves, we might have divine feminine wounds. We might have mother wounds. Maybe you're dealing with a masculine who's got mother wounds and he's projecting onto you. It's time to let go. It's time to face your fears. The Four of Pentacles reversed is it's time to heal, or it's time to let go, or it's time to see that this is not all of yours. Some Capricorns are flying, but some of yours, this is your lowest version. This is you living in fear. This is you're settling for far less than you deserve. Okay, and there's an opportunity. See the way you've got the energy, it's all about mindset. But the message for Capricorns who are stuck in a rut and they're not really happy and they're not really fulfilled, or you feel like you're in one-sided dynamics. I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like I can't breathe. I feel like my solar plexus is clenched tight and I feel like I can't breathe. So some of you are either giving your power away, or you're in self-destructive behavior, or maybe you're living for a job, but you're just not fulfilled, like you're not happy. And the goal of life is happiness, otherwise what is the point? And there's plenty of people who've got money, houses and crap, and they're not happy. The goal of life is what makes me happy, right? There's also something to do where some of you are making choices from a place of being unhealed. So in other words, this person who's got these multiple options, I'm not going to say specific signs, it could be a Cancer, but see the way we said Cancer. So there's something in your life that is a Cancer, right? Maybe it's something you're doing, maybe it's an addiction, a habit, maybe it's a person, maybe it's the way you're living. So yes, you want to plan for the future, but the smart person also makes little things to be happy about each day. And the person who's really living from the highest version, and there's a brand new read on the website, which is what would my higher self do in this situation? It's your highest version, so check it out in the description below. It's brand new, but this is like, there's a message for Capricorn about your highest version. And some of you are not in that. If you're a Capricorn right now and you're not feeling this message, it's just not for you. So that's what I'm getting for Capricorn. Let's move to Aquarius. So what is a message for Aquarius energetically at this time? Ooh, so I'm getting excitement. I'm getting butterflies. I think Aquarius is either you are doing something energetically, in other words, maybe your energy has started to shift, or you are feeling a shift, you're feeling like there's a change coming. Some of you are about to meet someone. Ooh, so we've got the devil reversed, so this is awesome. The devil reversed is basically we're choosing happiness. This is another problem that people do. They choose a lot of bad and then they wonder why their life is full of bad. They choose toxic habits, they choose toxic people, and then they wonder why their life is not good. Okay, but I get for you, there's excitement here. I get there's a conscious choice and actions that are aligned with new beginnings, change. And I also got you're not living in fear. You're not feeding illusions. The moon reversed is where you're not living in your inner world. You're going out into the world and you're meeting people and you're trying things. But the power here is that there's like a curiosity. And I feel like there's also a, if I'm going to get something, I have to give something. I feel like some of years there could have been some kind of shift. I'm hearing that really strongly for Aquarius. Maybe the universe is supporting you. Some of years you rule the stars, you rule the universe. So what I mean by this is you're in alignment. But I'm not getting this as luck. I'm not getting this as, yeah, some of years the universe and just there has been a shift. But I'm actually getting this as the rewards are coming because you're making a conscious choice to put your energy in the right direction. You're making a conscious choice to fight for your happiness. You're removing toxic people. You're removing your own toxicity. You're not in your moon. You're not in your shadow. This is really good for you, Aquarius. I love this. Okay, so again, the Three of Wands reversed is some of you might be living day to day. So sometimes that's what we do. We just don't think too far into the future. We just go out there. Maybe we meet somebody. We're not thinking about the outcome. Maybe we start a business. We're not thinking about it all being successful. Because sometimes that's how we sabotage. So in other words, like thinking too much about outcomes actually stops us. So some of you right now, maybe this is a message. So if you're not feeling good right now, there is a message for Aquarius that the universe is on your side, but you also need to be on your own side. Right, you need to definitely avoid toxic people, toxic environments. This is cleaning up. Maybe you're getting healthy, but there's an excitement for you. Some of you Aquariuses, you've got blocked solar plexus. So some of you are going to listen to this message and be like, I'm not feeling like this. It's like, no, you need to take the message and apply it, and you will be. So in other words, you need to create fresh energy. You need to reject addictions. You need to reject anything that is the devil. You need to stay away from toxic people. You need to look at your own toxicities, and you need to try new things. Sometimes people will receive a message and they'll be like, yeah, but that's not for me. It's like, no, it is. It's the message you need to apply, and then your life will change, okay? So Three of Pentacles reverse. So I am getting some of you Aquarius as you've got blocked solar plexus. Now, if you go on YouTube, you can also go to energy healers. But if you go on YouTube, there's lots of stuff that you can do to start activating your energy, opening up your energy. But a big part of opening up your solar plexus is going towards your own power. In other words, making yourself feel powerful, building your confidence, and that often comes with action. Maybe you want to find love, it's going out there and dating people. Maybe you want success in money, so you just start building a business, right? In other words, yes, we can do the frequency stuff, but ultimately, what we act in is what we build. So I feel like that's a big message. So some of the Aquariuses who are like really in a low frequency, that's a big message. It's like, it's time to heal. It's time to choose happiness. I just did. It's time to remember who the fuck you are. Like you are literally, you belong to the star and the universe. You are inspirational. You are hopeful. You are connected to humanity. It's time to get back to living. I think some of you have kind of been in your trauma, or you've been, out of your power, or maybe you've been stuck in a rut. I feel like this is a big message for Aquarius, and for the Aquarius who listen, and I know sometimes, believe me, I know. So when you're in a low point, the hard thing to do is have faith. The hard thing to do is take action. I know. But that's what you need to do. And if you do, watch what happens. I heard this summer. So for you Aquarius as the ones who listen, and it's just about taking small steps each day. Small steps towards building your power, small steps towards changing your negativity, changing your thinking, working on your confidence, working on your solar plexus. And I think this summer is going to be magical. Another message, and I'll do another read in the future, but I feel like Aquarius is going to find love soon. I automatically got the stomach having butterflies. So Some of you might have been single for a long time, but you also do need to. The universe is delivering. It's delivering gifts, okay? But if you don't open your hand to receive those gifts, it's wasted, okay? So there is gifts being delivered from the universe, but you need to open your hands to receive them. So I love that message for you. Okay, let's go on to our Pisces. Pisces hate me lately because I never do reads for them. I'm sorry, Pisces. Okay, so what are we seeing? I feel like Pisces right now is drained, but they're also not taken. So I'm feeling like for Pisces right now, you're coming up as the Ace of Cups reverse. So that for me would be a person who's drained, or it's a person who basically maybe they're putting their energy into the wrong places. You've also got Judgment card reversed as well. So this is a person who he's not having good judgment in some way. Some of you are dealing with a relationship where you're not being honest with yourself. If you're dealing with the Pisces, remember what I said, you can check the timestamps below and you can watch their sign. If you're dealing with the Pisces, I feel like someone's got misjudgment here. So this is illusions, it's fantasies, it's believing someone's going to change, it's putting your energy into something with the whole, potential and wishful thinking, right? And I think some of you are being led down the garden path. Either you're leading yourself there or someone else is. And I feel like the message here is it's time to wake up. That's what I just said. I feel like for you Pisces, maybe it's like, for example, or if you're dealing with the Pisces, the Ace of Cups reversed is something is not divinely sent. It's the devil manipulating you. It's the devil in disguise. But when we go into our fantasy and we go into our illusions, we tell ourselves, no, this is my divine partner. Or maybe some of you are being overly given of your energy. I think you're depleted. I think you're not looking after yourself. Some of you are putting other people before yourself. Or you are actively drained because you're feeding potential and illusions and it's just wasted time. 10 of Cups. Some years I heard psychic attacks, so there's something to do with people around you or draining you. So for Pisces, I feel like there might be, you are naturally psychic. So this is where people present an image, but you know exactly what's going on with those people. And there's a lot of these people now who they're doing all these energetic attacks, they're doing all these psychic attacks, they're evil eyeing you. And then they're presenting this image of, I'm not doing that. Or they're gaslighting you. And I think it's time for Pisces to wise up. Trust yourself now. Take your power back. In some way, you need to take your power back. Some years, I feel like for the Pisces man, you're dealing with a fire sign. I feel like this person's a bitch, they're a user, they're nasty. Maybe this is a family member, but I feel like the message for Pisces at this time is it's time to recover. It's time to fill up your own cup. It's time to be honest. The Ace of Cups reverse can also be someone who's out of their own divinity. So their behaviour daily is, I'm getting like anxiety, I'm getting agitation, I'm getting power struggle. So for the collective, especially for the people who say, you know what, I'm going to watch this whole video from the start to the end, there is a big message here that you need to work on your energy, and these people who do all this psychic attack, it's weak people. People who play in the shadows, people who do all this witchcraft, energy manipulation, it's the weakest of the weak. They're just vermin. But it's a thing. And evil eye is a thing, and the environment that we go into, when people who play, they present one thing, but they're doing another, it's time to take your power back. Because Pisces is tuned in, you deep down, beyond your illusions and your wishful thinking. You know what's going on. You're not naive, you're not stupid, you know what's going on. So there's something in Pisces where they need to accept some kind of truth. And you had the Ace of Swords reversed. I also got something to do with not being honest with yourself, or you're dealing with somebody who's not being honest, okay? There's no future. There's something that Pisces is doing that maybe there's a need to drop the alcohol, protection shields. I could do a whole video for this. The main message for some of you is that you need to slow down. So some of you Pisces right now, you're on a path, and I feel like that path is not a holy path. It's not a divine path. Some of you might be battling your own shadow, your own demons. I do get someone who internally is in conflict with themselves. And that's okay. It's part of the journey. If you don't go through the dark night of the soul, you haven't done life. Right? You can't get to light without darkness. So some of you could be in that confliction, but it's about taking your power back. It's about working on your energy. If it is, maybe you're a tarot reader, maybe you feel other people's energy intensely, there's a lot of power available to you to protect yourself. These people who do this, they want you in fear. That's what they want, right? They want you in fear. They're just vermin, and I will say that publicly. And your job is to take your power back, stop letting people manipulate you, stop being naive with these people, call them out, or it could be a person. And some of us, it's just a collective humanity. So now this is random strangers, it's people you don't even know. If you've got some kind of problem, it's like move, right? You got to put protective shields up, and I think it's about pulling back into your center and pulling back into your power, okay? So you can join the membership. I am going to be doing more exclusive reads. If you want to join the membership below, if you want a personal, check it out. Okay, so what are we seeing for Aries, please? What is a message for Aries at this time? So we do have the Nine of Cups reversed. I feel like there's a message here. It could be your energy is telling you. I feel like Aries right now, you need to listen to what your energy is telling you. Right, in other words, don't listen to words right now. Listen to what your energy is revealing to you. Nine of Cups reversed is some of you Aries right now, you're not happy. You're feeling triggered. Nine of Swords. Okay, so remember, the energy and the mind are a loop. Okay, when your mind goes into conflict, it's because there's something in your body, there's something in your unconscious, or there's something in your energy or your spirit. It's never the mind. The mind is, the prefrontal cortex is figuring out the problem. Okay, and so when we are in conflict in our mind, it's often the conflict's not in the mind, it's in the spirit, it's in the energetics, or it's in the emotional body. So when you understand that your mind and your body is a loop, right? For example, some people have intense anxiety and they're looking in the world for where the anxiety is. It's in themselves, it's in the drinks, it's in the foods, it's in what they're watching on the TV. So the point I'm making is there's something in Aries where you've got some kind of anxiety, but instead of feeding the anxiety, it's like you need to sit and listen deeply and say, okay, there's just something in the software, there's something in the program, there's something in me that my mind is trying to figure out. Don't be like panicking, right? I do get some of you are unhappy. I do think some of you feel very isolated right now. I feel like there's triggered energy as well. We do have the Temperance. Now, again, if you're in Aries, excuse me, and you're in a good place, this message is not for you. It doesn't mean that the message is wrong. It means that the message is not for you. So don't take what's not yours, right? There could also be a strong message here as well that I do think we have a world now to which people project. They project, right? And if they can't control you and they can't manipulate you, then they'll work harder to project. So some of you Aries right now, you need to be honest about what is mine and also what is other people's. So I would say to all of the collective watching this, I don't care what sign you are, that is what it's about. Sometimes it's us, right? We're sending it out. It's us. We're the problem. And sometimes it's other people and they're projecting and imprinting. And the message here is, no, I'm not, that's not mine to carry. You need to do you. So some of you, it could be someone around you, or it could be certain people. And I think you need to take your power back. Temperance as well is, I feel like Aries is struggling with something right now. And you want things to be fixed fast. And it's triggering your energy. What you need to do now is be calm. Meditation is really going to help you. Patience is going to help you. But some of you, it's setting those strong boundaries in your life. Okay, so what else are we seeing for Aries here, please? What else is a message for Aries here? Ace of Pentacles reverse. So what's a trigger for using your energy as money or career? The other side of the coin is you cannot beat a toxic environment. And smart people know this. You know, I think sometimes what we do, especially in the modern age, is we tend to want to figure out why people are the way they are. Sometimes a toxic person is just a toxic person. And that's it. Sometimes a toxic environment is just a toxic environment and there's nothing to figure out. Your job is to remove yourself. But I'd say for those who it's not about people, it's more about some Aries really feel like they're not meeting their potential. And I feel like money is a problem. So this is where basically there's not enough money coming in and there's lots of outgoings and you just feel pressure. You just feel pressure, but you're not going to fix the problem from anger, force, trigger. You're not going to fix the problem blaming other people. If there's toxic people in your life, it's a mirror. If there's a job you're going to and you're getting less than you deserve, it's a mirror. I'm not saying it's easy, but what I'm getting for Aries now is if you want to fix this problem, whether it be certain people, whether it be money, the best thing is calm, right? So what you're going to do is the temperance is you're keeping one foot in the practical, but you're also taking the time to meditate yourself, calm, think things through, think how you're going to handle this situation. I also just heard a divorce. So I feel like some of you are in some kind of house, you're married, you hate this person. I'm going to say that. Like, you really don't like this person. This person is toxic. But sometimes we've boxed ourselves in. So we have to be there, right? Because maybe we're married and we've got assets and we need to be there, right? But I think the message for Aries right now, I also heard for Aries, someone is trying to get a rise, someone is trying to get a reaction. So some of you are actively dealing with some kind of enemy or some kind of challenge, right, from a person. And they're just waiting for that. They're waiting for the reaction. They're waiting for the response. Maybe it's in a work environment. Maybe it's someone who just loves to go with people. You do get those people, and I've seen it, where they're so deeply miserable that the only thing they can do is put bad energy into the world. The only thing that they can do is destroy. And they know exactly what they're doing. And I feel like the message for you is don't bite on the stick. Okay? Yeah, and some years, I think it is some kind of environment where you just feel, pressure, you feel like they demand too much, it's just not good, right? So, but the calmer Aries can be now, the more that you can work on grounding yourself, that's another message. Meditation, yoga, these things, you'll find the answer. The answer is it not in taking action right now, it's in being calm, it's in being patient, it's in thinking things through. Because sometimes we have to do that if other people have power. Sometimes you're in a situation where you are in the submissive position and the other person has the power, and so the last thing you want to do is be reactive. You have to be smart, you'd have to be strategic, or you'd have to think things through, you'd have to think about the next step, you'd have to make a plan. So there's a message there. Some of you, I think, I love this is wonderful. I feel like for Aries, it's more about, you just want better. You don't want to live life in survival. You want more money. You're tired of being stressed out all the time. Some of you want to leave your career. You want to start a whole new career. You want to follow your passions. And I feel like I love this. I just got like this burst in the solar plexus. You know what I mean? Like you want to feel alive. And I just think that some of you are in a marriage or you're in some kind of job. So don't battle it. Don't battle it. Accept it. Say, like I've backed myself into a corner, but I'm in this now. But just know it's not forever. It's not forever, but sometimes we end up staying in a place for a long time because we keep having the same reaction. We keep doing the same pattern, right? It's a time for Aries to be proactive and not reactive, is what I would say. Now, like I said, these are general messages. I want to keep this because obviously it's going to be long with all the signs. But if you want a personal, check it out below. If you want to join the membership, there's also Aries reads up on the channel if you haven't seen them. YouTube's not really pushing out. That's why I appreciate a like and a comment if you appreciate me putting the energy here. But if you want a personal, they're available on the site. Okay, so let's see Taurus's energy. Okay, let's see Taurus's energy. Okay, so we do have the Five of Swords reversed. Okay, so I love this, right? So I feel like for some of you Taurus, you're dealing with, I feel like Taurus is dealing with someone who's trying to get back in their energy. So I feel like some of yous got out of a situation and took your power back. And I feel like that's also the devil. So when you've had a toxic person in your life and you've released yourself energetically, the cords, the bind from that person, and that person's trying to get back in, that's the devil. It's like an addiction. You break yourself from the addiction and it's trying to get back in. That's the devil in motion. Okay, so what I'm getting for Taurus is you're kind of in your routine. Your energy is relatively calm. There's still a bit of struggle. But some of you, you're being tested in some way. So I feel like there's something that is trying to penetrate or enter or re-enter your energy. And some of you, it's a masculine. There's another message for some Taurus women which is some of you are dealing with a Cancer, some of you are dealing with a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You can check their signs in the timestamps. And some of you are dealing with strong Sagittarius energy. And I feel like the message here is this person has got inner childhood wounds. This person has got trauma. But this is what I'm talking about the level of entitlement. You've now got people who are an absolute mess, who expect you to fix them. You've got people who, random people, strangers, just the level of entitlement out here. Or you've got men who think they can come into your life as an absolute mess with no plan. No one's perfect, but these people have got no plan. They're not trying. And then they expect you to basically give access, give you future, give you full investment. No. Okay, so I think the strong message for Taurus at this time is watch where you're putting your energy and don't allow somebody to re-enter your energy who clearly is the devil, because that is demonic. It's shadow, right? At the end of the day, sometimes we meet a person, they're poor. Sometimes we meet a man and maybe he's not the best man he can be. Maybe he's not at his full potential, but he's trying. He's trying. You know, every day he's going out, he's trying. He's trying to get a job. He's trying to work on his bag. He's trying to work on himself. He's conscious, he's open to receiving. But you're getting a lot of these now, and they're vermin. And I'm going to use that word, they're absolute vermin, and they're dangerous. And I feel like a lot of people, they feel sorry. Maybe you went through things as a child. Maybe you feel so. I would not feel sorry now. I will protect my peace. I will protect my energy. I will protect my physical safety. Because yeah, I feel like a lot of these, they're good at playing the victim. They're good at presenting like, oh, you know. So there's something for Taurus with that. For the Taurus who are doing well, that's what I'm getting. The devil, and this can be for the Taurus woman or man, is trying to re-enter. And I feel like this is either someone from your past, or it could be something you did in the past. So say you had an addiction. Okay, maybe there was something in the past, and I feel like this thing is trying to re-enter. It's trying to tempt you. Okay, so I'm in that really strongly. And it's to drag you back down. And it's to stop you moving forward. This can be the dark self. You know? It's like, who do you think you are? Who are you kidding? Like, yeah, stay down, motherfucker. Don't listen, right? Other than that, again, some of you are dealing with a Sagittarius, or you're dealing with an Aries. But I think now is the time to see the Six of Cups reversed. And some of you, it's time to get rid of somebody out your life. So some of years right now, I feel like you could be dealing with this person, and this is a person who just like, it's absolutely demonic. Like this person's reckless. They're not going to change. They constantly do the same pattern. I feel like this person is arrogant and entitled, and it's just like, so some of you Taurus, you're in it now, and you need to put your foot down. And then for the Taurus man, there's a strong message that something is trying to penetrate your energy. It's trying to weaken you, and you need to take your power back. Okay, so intense, but I like these messages. Okay, so Gemini, hi. We always love doing our Geminis. Okay, so we do have the Eight of Cups for Gemini. So the Eight of Cups reversed is some of yous are being, I feel like some of yous, you might need to walk away from a connection in your life, or certain people in your life. This could be friends, or it could be somebody who you're currently seeing. There's kind of I'm going to stick it out, or you're not doing the hard stuff. So I feel like there's a message for Geminis right now. Your past could also be coming up here. So for me, the Six of Cups is our childhood. I also read past life. So let's see more for Gemini. Yeah. I feel like you need to be careful with a love bomber for Gemini. It could be a Pisces, could be the strong water sign is coming up, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. I feel like this is somebody who, like, they live in a fantasy land. I feel like for Geminis as well, like, that's what you've got to be careful of now. Gemini has put a lot of energy into businesses, into people, into helping other people, and they've ruined themselves in doing so. Or they've definitely disadvantaged themselves in doing so. I feel like there's two Geminis now. There's going to be Geminis who bury their head in the sand and ignore the common sense, and their energy is screaming at them. It's screaming at them, right? But they're just ignoring the common sense. And so there will be a price for that. Just because we ignore the truth doesn't mean the truth goes away. The truth's still going to be the truth, right? So I feel like there's a strong message at this time for Gemini, which is, it's up to you, you know. And then there's Geminis who are about to make some pretty hard decisions. You're going to be the bad guy. People are not going to like you. I do think Geminis have been relentlessly spiritually attacked, but you will be, because the power that you've got is different than most people. You are the magician. You work for the divine, so you will be attacked relentlessly. Also, in the modern generation we live in, is we live with a lot of gaslighters and manipulators, and Gemini can't be gaslit and it can't be manipulated. And people don't like that. They don't like when you don't want to sit with them. They don't like when you call them out on the BS. They don't like when you don't sell out, right? Because most men out here and women out here are for sale, right? And Gemini's not for sale. And so I feel like there's a message there. The message for you energetically is to shield yourself, to protect yourself, and to know that you do belong to God. And that what you need to do right now is there's people around you who they're trying to manipulate your energy, they're trying to penetrate your energy, they're trying to influence you in some way or damage or hurt you in some way. And I don't feel like they're doing it to your face, because they're scared. They're not going to do it to your face, right? They know, right? They're doing it energetically, right? Maybe it's sending evil eye. I feel like this is like false friends. I feel like this is maybe people on social media, people who come nice with the mouth and they come nice, but deep down it's fake. And you know this, right? But I feel like a strong message for Geminis right now is to take no prisoners. And can you hear the silence? I feel like it's to take no prisoners. But I just right? I just specifically heard your energy is screaming at you, and I feel like that's all you need to do now. Okay, so there's another message. Don't be paranoid. Some Geminis, they're highly stressed right now and they're highly strung up. You need to work on your energy. You need to be conscious of what you're putting out there, okay? And I just heard a divine message, which is, if you act right, you will be protected. It can be the devil and the deep blue sea that moves against you, but it won't matter. If you act right, you will be protected. And I also got the people who are attacking you, the level of consequences, they've got no idea, right? Your job now is to focus on yourself, clean your energy, protect your energy. Some of years, I do feel like the message here is you've got a lot of fake people around you. Like, these people are not rooting for you. They don't want to see you win. I feel like these people are like very fake and just, it's evil eye. It's fake, right? Ten of Wands. Okay. So the Ten of Wands is dropping people, dropping a burden. What's coming up for you is really strongly, that is sabotaging you at this time, is your root and also your sacral. So I feel like some of you need to go over your past. I do coaching. It's not available at this time, but it will be in the future. So if you're interested, reach out. But I do have other reads if you're interested. So I feel like some of yous, the root chakra can be where we're rooted. So the root chakra can be the environment we're in that's affecting our energy. The sacral can be intimate relationships. Maybe you need to go through an energy cleanse, cord cutting. But some of you need to get rid of someone out of your life. This person's a clown. They're a fool. I feel like some of you are in a relationship, or you're dealing with a person who you can't get to your highest potential with this person. Okay, you're wasting your time. So Geminis need to think about what they want. And I do think a lot of Geminis, you've been through a hard time. And some of years when these energetic attacks came and these relentless attacks came, you was ill prepared to deal with them. But now you're trained. That's how a warrior becomes a warrior. He doesn't become a warrior in peace. He becomes a warrior in war. He becomes a warrior by people who betray him, people who backstab him, people who leave him on his face. You know, I think Geminis feel a deep pain and betrayal for what some people have done to you. Some of you are like the audacity of these people. They're just detractors. They're just fake. They're just, and I think that's a message. Yeah. The other side of the coin, though, Gemini, is you have some real friends coming into your life. You have some magic coming into your life. And remember, we just said to you, didn't we? Don't be paranoid. You have some, and you have. Oh, that's so gorgeous. You have people who genuinely fuck with you and genuinely care for you. Okay, so what I'm saying is, don't allow these darker forces, don't allow these fake people, don't allow your past, be discerning now. And as, like I said, your energy is screaming at you about certain people, but your energy is also screaming at you about people who really love you, people who really support you, people who are genuine, right? Your job is to be balanced and moderate. But I think it's all good. It's funny though, like when I tune into Gemini's energy, it's that Queen of Swords, King of Swords, taking no shit. And I swear to God, I've been like this. Like, I've been being respectful to people and decent with people, but my God, this last week have I called people right to the face. Like, unapologetically, right? Not reactive, but just like, don't, you know? And I think that's good. I think that's what Gemini needs to be. Now, I do think that some Geminis have been too weak. Some years have been in low frequency. This has enabled these people to attack you relentlessly. Some years have been doubting yourself. You've been gaslighting yourself. You know, I don't like a lot of the terminology, but I think gaslighting is a thing. I do. I think people who project, it's a thing. So I don't know if that's the right term, but that's what I would use. But I feel like the message for Gemini right now is you're going to have to be strong, and you're going to have to be soft at the same time, and you're going to have to be discerning. But there is a strong message from the divine, and there is a brand new spread on the website where it's, what would my higher self do? What does my higher self want me to do in this situation? Because I do feel like some of you Gemini, if you're going to get to that next level and you're going to make the right choices in your life, it's time to basically stop going from your fear, right? It's time to go from your highest version. So let's see anything else. If you check out the members in the description box below, there's some readings for Gemini. Also, the 12 rules for Gemini for 2026 is also in the higher tier. So people did buy that as a course at the start of the year, but now that the year's kind of run through, I've put it in the members. So if you want to check out that course for a fraction of the price, because obviously it's been reduced because it's half the year, it's a really good course, okay? Everything is below. Any other messages for our gems? Knight of Wands reversed. I just get happiness. I think for, again, some of you Gemini men, you need to work on yourself, watch your reactions. Some of you, there's voodoo here, there's bind and work here. Some of you are grappling with this right now, but you have the power. You have the power to, maybe some of you, you're grappling with your own dark night of the soul, like I said to the other signs. If you don't go through a dark night of the soul, if you don't do your shadow stuff, you're done anyway. You need to do those things. You need to see who you are. You need to see your darkness. You need to be tested. So for the Geminis who are really feeling this energetically, again, stop fighting it. It's just data. It's scary. But it's data. It's part of your growth. It's part of your power. It's part of the person you're going to become. So there's something with Geminis where it's fear. And I understand when this happens, and the sirens have been going off a lot for you. When this happens, it's scary. That's why you need to be calm, right? Final message for Gemini, and then there was a strong message that these people who were doing this, whether it be voodoo, bind and work, whether it be people who were intentionally trying to manipulate your off path, the day will come, okay? But some of you need to get rid of people out of your life, Geminis, because I'm telling you, like, you read people and you read them well, and your energy reads them, and you know, they ain't your friends. And some of you know, like, that someone is just not going to give you the future. So don't waste time. Don't dupe yourself. Don't sit in your head. You're doing this to yourself. It's time to stop listening to your mind, and it's time to start listening to your energy. It's time to start listening to your spirit. And I feel like the divine is screaming out to you as well. You're going through a training of sorts for some Geminis. For some Geminis you're going through a training of sorts. You're a warrior. Right, that's why you stand before the people. I feel like some of your past life came up as well. So some of you, what I'm getting is, you are the magician in this life, and some of you have forgot your training. Maybe that's what you need to be doing now, doing past life reads, reconnecting with yourself, your family tree, all of this. If you're going through a hard time, if you're being tested, and if you're being attacked relentlessly, because this is an energetic read, if people are trying to distract you, knock you off path, if people have envy and jealousy, it must be for something. Right, so think it through. Okay, so let's move on. Let's do Cancer. Okay, so what is a strong message energetically for Cancer at this time? What is a message for Cancer at this time? Okay, so we do have the Knight of Cups and we do have the Fool. Okay, So some of you Cancers, I feel like someone's coming back from the past. If you check the latest reads, remember I do weekly reads, but mostly my reads are timeless. I might not even do weekly reads anymore. Maybe I'll just do them for members, because I do think that my reads tend to be timeless. Because I do human behaviour, I don't feel like I should be doing like weekly reads really. But we'll be doing a lot on the channel, so check the membership, like the videos, comment, support. There's a Cancer read for yous if you want to check it out. Some of yous are being played for a fool. You're acting like a fool. The Knight of Cups can be this. So this can be reckless behaviour. So some of yous right now, you might be putting your energy in the wrong places. I specifically saw you running towards someone who's non-committal. Okay, you running towards something, or you're fully investing in something, and I feel like this investment is futile. In other words, you're not going to get nothing back from it. Right, that's what this Knight of Cups is. Right, this can also be the things that we consume affect our energy. I know this for me. Right, so if I watch a lot of war stuff, it might like start changing my mindset. It might affect my energy. If I'm drinking, if I'm eating certain foods, this all affects frequency and energy. Okay, so that's natural, right? If we eat a lot of shit, then can make that can make us sluggish. But there's something with yous where you're wasting your energy in some way. Some years I think it's a relationship. I'm not even getting a relationship. I'm getting a situationship. So in other words, like this is not going anywhere. Knight of Pentacles reversed. Some years it's a job. You're being played for the fool. So this can be, I know Cancers, like, so for example, maybe you're going to your job and, the Knight of Cups is fully invested and, but you're kind of going nowhere. The Fool is going nowhere, right? You see the circus, and in this particular deck, this Fool is at the circus. Right. Okay, so another message for you at this time is something to do with astrology. Okay, so I feel like there's a strong message at this time. Maybe some of you're doing all of the work, you're kind of investing in that way, but you're not using it. Everything is a tool, but if you don't use it, you're just wasting time, right? So some of you might be doing the courses or going to certain readers, but you're just not using it. You're not putting it into action. So that's kind of a fool's errand. Okay, so there's a message for Cancer around some kind of fool's errand. Okay, what else? For some of you, I'm seeing it as like your heart is open and you're really given to this place or this job or this person, but you're wasting your time. So there's a strong message. Some of you could be dealing with a Virgo. If you're watching for a Cancer, maybe if you're a Virgo dealing with a Cancer, that's a message, yeah, that you're wasting your time. Because Cancers are not whiter than white, They're not whiter than white. Cancers can be highly manipulative. I know Cancers who, not personally, but I've coached people all over the world, and I know Cancers who have their exes still in the social media. They don't close doors, but they want to open new ones. So yeah, I don't think Cancers are like whiter than white. I think they can be highly manipulative, highly secretive. I'm not anti-Cancer. I love Cancers. Like, some Cancers are very nice people, but a Cancer who's undeveloped can be self-destructive, or they can be manipulative, King of Cups. Okay, so this is for the Cancer man. I'm also getting that something you're putting your energy into. Now, some of you are not using any energy. You've got Saturn, and this is restriction. So alcohol is coming up a lot here, or some kind of addiction. And I feel like this could be leading to sedentary. So in other words, you're kind of going home, you're getting high, you're drinking, and so your energy's not going anywhere. Maybe you're suppressing your energy, maybe you're masking your energy, maybe you're pushing things down within you. But long term, what I'm getting here is a person who's got like wounds, and so what they're doing is they're using coping mechanisms and they're using masking, but you're not going to get away with it long term. So this can also be people who, they don't do the shadow work, they don't do the healing, and they might get away with it for a period of time, but eventually everything comes full circle. Full circle, okay? Okay, so what else? So there's a decision to be made, okay? There's a decision to be made, and I feel like some of yours, there's the path to freedom, okay? There's a new life, there's rooting yourself in a new life, there's a new job, there's a new person, there's a new place, there's a new you, others see the mountains. But for me, that's the energetics. That's where you keep just putting the blinders on in your life. You keep masking. There's something to do where, and he's not, oh, he is wearing a mask. There's something to do where you're masking the problem. And I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. I get it. I fucking get it. It's a law. It's a law. Life is a law. People are, it's a law. But I'm saying, you know, our trauma doesn't go away. Our problems don't go away because we avoid them. Maybe we do go away for a bit, you know, but eventually it's a bit like debt. You can ignore debt, but eventually they'll come knocking, right? It's like anything. Eventually you're going to have to confront it. So there's something about that for you. I think that's a strong message for the Sagittarius, somebody might be dealing with a Sagittarius man. I think that's a strong message for the Cancer man. For the Cancer woman, justice reversed. So justice reversed is there's, again, justice is a cause and effect. But there's something you're doing with your energy right now, or somewhere you're putting your energy right now that's not right. This is right. This is doing the right thing, right? You're making the right decision. This is making the wrong decision. This is following the law. This is breaking the law. Okay? This is also where people put themselves in relationships and they put themselves in jobs and they give and give of themselves. And I know because I've done it. They think, you know, if I'm good to these people, they'll be good to me. If I show to me boss that I'm like dedicated, no, it doesn't always work like that. Right? You can be a good person and attract people who absolutely exploit you. You can love a person till the ground they walk on and they'll never love you. Right? So you got to be careful with naivety now. But there's something to do where there's a wrong direction. There's a change that needs to be made. There's something you're doing with your energy, or something your energy is telling you that's not going to be good for you long term. Eight of Swords. Putting the mask on. Pulling the blinders down. I feel like for the Cancer woman, it's strongly around, some of you are dealing with a karmic. So I'm definitely going to say karmic or twin flame. You could be dealing with a twin flame. And you know I'm not a reader who rides off this. There's so many readers on YouTube and TikTok now who, it's a trend, you know. But if I see it, I'll say. And I do feel, because we're doing an energy read, some of you are dealing with a twin flame. You do feel bound to this person. But it's because you're looking at it all wrong, right? You're trying to fight the connection instead of understanding there's a lesson. Past lives keep coming up a lot here. So it came up for Gemini, but it's also coming up for Cancer. So, but also past lives can be someone we was with in the past and then they come back. It can be this life. Because think about it, right? We live many lives in one life. Right? So some of you are sitting here now and you might have watched the whole video, and this could be for any sign who's watching this, or it can be for Cancer, but literally, you know, some people, they live a linear life, right? They just do the same thing. They just go through different decades. But some people, they have many different lives. They have different relationships, right? So maybe there's something here around repeating the same pattern. You're doing the same thing again. You're not learning your lesson. You're not sitting down and understanding what the lesson is here. You know, where you're repeating patterns. This can be jobs where we've given of ourselves and they still don't appreciate us. This can be the same type of relationship with a different person. It can be the same, it can be a relationship with the same person, right? In other words, we were with them in the past and they come back. Okay, but I feel like for Cancer, Six of Cups reverse, some of you need to look at your astrology, some of you need to look at your past lives, some of you need to, there's things like cord cutting here. Some of you, I feel like you really want to get out of this prison. You really want to break this, but it feels like you're bound. For me, the Eight of Swords is sometimes it's our mind, it's the story we're telling ourselves that keeps us bound to that job or that person. But sometimes it's deeper than that, right? Sometimes it is that we really consciously want to let go, but it feels like there's this stronghold. It feels like we can't. And as this is an energy read, it means we need something outside of ourselves. There's something we need to understand that can help us break free. Okay, because none of us know what this life is, you know, but I'm going to put it down to there's something that you're doing, or you're wasting your energy, you're living in illusions, and it's time to take your power back. Okay, so let's see Leo. Okay, let's get the Leo. Okay, what are we seeing for Leos in the current time energetically? Nine of Swords. Okay, so I feel like Leos might be dealing with a no contact situation. If you're watching for a Leo as a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, I feel like this Leo doesn't care. Okay? I feel like this Leo doesn't care. I feel like you're dealing with a Leo who they're unstable right now, financially. I feel like this person's a mess. They're all over the place. I'm not judging. You know, sometimes life happens, things happen. But the point I'm making is, if you're cross-watching as either an earth sign or definitely an air sign for a Leo, I feel like this person doesn't care. They're not invested. Seven of Pentacles reversed. For the Leos themselves, for the Leo woman, I feel like you're dealing with the signs we just mentioned, and I feel like you need to stop waiting on this person. You need to stop wasting your time on this person and wasting your energy on this person. They're not coming back. Some of you, it's a no contact, or this person is still in your they're still in your vicinity, but it's no they're not making an effort. They're not invested. They don't reach out. Like, it's obvious. Okay. So some of you need to give up on this person. Page of Swords. Some of you, I think you might be trying to put your energy into working on a relationship to which you've got a child with this person. Okay, it's either this person has got childhood wounds, or they're very childish and they're very immature. And I feel like what you should do with that Seven of Pentacles reversed is just don't invest. You know, life is about taking risks and it is about investment, but sometimes, like, you've got to know when to get out. So it's not that the rich and the successful don't make investments that don't fail. They know when to get out. It's not that they don't start dating somebody. But the minute that they see, like, this person is just not for me, they pull back on their investment. You know, sometimes you get into something and you think, oh, and then you kind of see and you pull back. That's what successful and smart people do. They know when to pull back on their investment. It's not that they don't make mistakes or misjudgments. So some of you are kind of beating yourself up, but it's like the red flags. The red flags. And the fact that you're anxious, the fact that you're having sleepless nights is red flags about this person, okay? Okay, so what else are we seeing? Some of you, your energy is also being affected by, I feel like some of you, Leo, you want to have kids. But the worst thing you can do if you want to get pregnant is go into stress. If you want to get pregnant, you need to look at certain foods. So what I'm getting here is maybe you're getting to a certain age, or maybe you just really want to have kids. Some people, like, they just love kids. Why you'd want to listen to the screaming, the crying and all the shit, I don't know. But some people, they just love kids and they really want to have kids. And, you know, kudos to you. But I feel like some of you, I got like emotion. Like, you really want to have kids. And I also heard miscarriage. So sometimes in our past, if we've lost in an area that we really want, it creates a lot of fear. So I feel like there's a Leo who's watching this who, like, you really want to have kids. It could also be, you know, there's problems there and you need to seek professional guidance and whatever. But I think you can still have kids. In other words, maybe not in the natural sense, but maybe in another way. Some of you is in the natural sense. But what you need to do is stop being in the mind. Stop, because what you're doing is sending messages to your sympathetic system. Okay, so when we go into a heightened state of anxiety, we're sending messages to our nervous system and to our sympathetic nervous system. And so what happens then is our body's in stress response. You can look at sexual positions, you can look at, you know, your energy needs to be open, your womb needs to be flowing. I'd also say, if you want to birth a child, clean your sacral. Because the sacral is the mother, it's where we birth a child. Okay, look at different sexual positions, look at the food you're eating, be positive, open your energy, trust in God, and I feel like there's someone in this who you'll get what you want. Okay, conflict, pain, you know. So some of you, there's something to do with as well, our energy is also alerting us. So this can be illness. I feel like there's a message for Leos right now to, like, not ignore the red flags. Your energy is telling you something, your body is telling you something. This is not just an energetic read, it's also, just general guidance. But I really want to do this because people do say to me sometimes, Elisa, will you do like a full signs energy read? But yeah, we've got the Three of Swords. I feel like some of you need to move, you need to relocate, or you need to get out of an environment. Some of you, you've got a lot of conflict around you, and if you've listened to all of the signs or some of the signs, that's what you've got to be aware of. You know, people are saturated with the demonic now. you know, because when you're in low frequency and you're in survival, and obviously the times we live in where there's a lot of pit and patterning against each other, people are just genuinely on edge. And so you're picking that up energetically, right? But I think what people need to do is, Leo, you know, is you need to know what you stand for, and don't allow people to gaslight you, don't allow people to project their fears, don't allow people to create a discord within you, disconnection within you. So, you know, Leos love all people, they love all cultures, they're very open people, and they love community, and they love, you know, so some of us, I think there's a message here to not allow people who've got their own issues to project that onto you, right? So there's a message there. Some of us by relocating the Two of Pentacles, and then some of us it's around your health. So I feel like there's a message that energetically this can be burnout. It could be your body is sending you signals. You need to balance yourself. You need to work on your chakras. You've got the heart chakra as well. I'm going to say for Leos as well, there's a strong message around the heart, cardiovascular, breathing. You know, I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor, so if you're picking up those signals, you need to seek professional guidance. That's just a disclaimer. Because, you know, I like to give guidance, but also I need to keep within my boundaries for everybody's sake. So some of years I feel like if your heart is giving you any kind of signals, now would be a good time to go to a heart surgeon and just get a checkup. So I remember when I had like crippling anxiety, I went to the A&E because like it just felt off, right? And I was a personal trainer at the time, so I think I pulled something. Well, I'm still here, so it was that, right? And so I goes into A&E, and I saw this heart specialist, and I was just having trouble with my breathing. I was having a lot of anxiety. In fact, I went to the doctors first, and they sent me to the A&E. And I remember that the doctor, he checked everything, and he come back and he said, Elisa, you're good. He said, you're fine. And I said, are you sure? You know, because I was like, honestly, like, I don't feel right. And he said, Elisa, I'm a heart specialist. I know from my professional opinion, you're fine. There's nothing in your heart, there's nothing. So what I'm saying is there's someone here who I feel like there's a stress over the health, or there's a stress over the heart. And the best thing you can do to put your mind at ease and to calm yourself down is to go and get professional advice. And sometimes anxiety can feel like a heart attack. It can feel like that because it can be so intense on the body. Or if you're in the gym, which Leos tend to do, you can pull something and you can feel that. So I think there's a message for Leos to deal with something that's weighing heavy on the mind. Some years I feel like it's time to move away from certain people. These people are creating fear. They're creating disconnect. That's not Leo. Leo doesn't live like that. Leo loves all people, all cultures. They like community. They live from the heart. You don't want to be around that. Some of you are thinking about relocation. I also feel like working on your chakras right now, working on your health right now, getting some kind of professional opinion that helps to set your mind at ease. It's going to calm your energy. There's something like that. But some Leos, I can see it here, and you can check the personals below. You're going through something right now. I feel like some of you is like, you're feeling really stuck right now, because with the Three of Wands reversed, it's kind of, we don't see a future. The Three of Wands is like where we see a future. Three of Wands reversed is where we kind of feel like we don't see a future. Okay? I feel like some of you right now, you're at the Ace of Swords reversed, and the Ace of Swords can also be reversed, where we've got a block brow chakra or a block crown chakra. So now might be a good time to seek an energy healer, go to a masseuse, clear your energy yourself. There's lots of things you can do. Because what I'm getting here is Leo is feeling confined, they're feeling stressed out, and the blocks are stopping them creating the future. Okay? So you kind of want to figure out your future, but because where your mind is at right now, or where your energy is at right now, or if you're in burnout, you can't. But we do have the sun. So the other side of the coin is, if you listen to this advice and you start doing the energy stuff, you can figure things out. Watch out for a Gemini who's restricted within themselves and they're bleeding onto you. Don't let people bleed onto you. You owe people nothing. Leos are very strong people, right? Don't be afraid to call people right to the face. Okay? Don't go looking for fights, don't go looking for drama. I do think there's a lot of people who they feel a certain kind of way and they just want a reaction. I've definitely encountered this lately. And so what I do is I weigh it up. I'm like, do I need to be silent with this person? Or is it time to put this person right in the place? And I think that's what you need to be, okay? Now's not a time for weakness. Now's not the time for silence. Now's the time to mind your business, but when you need to call it, okay? So let's see Virgo. Okay, what is a message for Virgo? What is a message for Virgo? Okay, so 5 of Wands reversed. I feel like for Virgo, yeah, you're just not interested. I feel like you want to be surrounded by creatives. I feel like for Virgos at this time, a good place to put your energy is into people who are like-minded. Right, I love this in this particular Three of Cups. With this combination, this is a person who's interested in no conflict, no stress. They're not competing with other people. They're not trying to force connections or getting people to see the vision. The Three of Cups is people of like mind. And I do think sometimes, and I know I've done this myself, we create our own problems because we go trying to convince people, or we go dropping ourselves down to people who are not ready to come up. I'm sorry now. You know, it's not about judgment. You know, there's plenty of people who they're not in a good place. Maybe they're in a dark night of the soul. I've been there. Maybe they're not in the best version, but they'll come up in their own time, God willing. You know, like we want that, right? We don't want people down and suffering. You know what I mean? Like if you're a human being, you don't want that. But sometimes you need to raise yourself up and you need to stay up and you need to stay away until they get to that place, right? So the Three of Cups for Virgo right now, I'd say for the Virgo man, wow, you know. So I feel like right now there's something with your energy or your frequency where women are hot on it because there's just a power. There's just an energy you're giving off. So that's good. Be careful with the player, you know, because what goes around comes around. But if you're single and you're being honest with people and you're being transparent with people, I feel like for Virgo man, like there's a lot of women who want your time. I feel the way you present yourself, the way you walk, the way it's sexy, it's competent, it's there's an order about you that a lot of men don't have. And I think women want to be close to that. So as long as you're not manipulating it, as long as you're honest and transparent, I think it's good for you. For the Virgo woman, I love this, and remember what I said. Sometimes we're not in a good place, but we're being given a message, and that's the message we need to apply to our life. In other words, maybe this doesn't make sense right now, but if you take this advice and you enact it and you put it into practice, then you'll get to where you want to get. So the Three of Cups is for the Virgo woman. I think you're about to start a business, or maybe you're doing like collaboration or something like that. Make sure you surround yourself with supportive women who are already up, women who share the same vision, because if you do, that's half the battle. Okay, we do have the Sun card reversed. Okay, so if you're out of your power, right, and if you're feeling drained, you need to take this message. In other words, you're creating your own problems because you're dropping yourself down to meet people who are just not your people, or they don't share the same vision, right? I also feel like the message though is to stay away from people who are out of their power, okay? Or they're blocked. You know, you haven't got time for people who are, you know, damaged, paranoid, fearful. People who are damaged, distrustful, paranoid, that you can't connect with those people. Because they're not looking at you as you are. They're looking at the fear. They're looking at the distrust. That you can't connect with those people. Okay. Okay. Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles. Okay. The other side of the coin is the message for the Virgo man is, if you want to remember what I said, it's time to look at what you're putting out into the world. It's time to look at the energy you're sending out into the world. It's time to look at how you present yourself in the world, because if you do that, I feel like you're going to get the kind of success you want. Okay. Any other message for Virgos, please? The Tower. Okay, so maybe this is you, because the Tower is our energy. So someone's energy is very, very chaotic. But I feel like the message with this Nine of Cups is you can turn this around. There's a strong message for Virgos who are in a really bad place right now. You could be in a dark night of the soul. You could be like... The other side of the coin is the Tower is where we deconstruct something. We go from the darkness into the light. We go from someone who is living in trauma, living in distrust, we're projecting everywhere, we're bleeding everywhere, and we turn it the fuck around. Sometimes we are the problem. You know, when people sit there and they go, oh, the human beings. Yeah, you're human beings. We're the humans, you know? So, so some of years I feel like you could be the person who, like, you're the one who distrusts people, you're the one who doesn't let people help you, you're the one who's... But there's something with the message here where it's like you can turn this around. That's you. So the Nine of Cups is someone who's open, they're receiving people, they're elevating basically. But there's a message for Virgos to stay away from people who, they're out of the power, they're destructive, they bring bad energy, they project an imprint onto other people, because I feel like when people do that, it's a way of screaming, like they're really screaming. They're like, help me, help me, help me. But instead of asking for help, they kind of come from this place. But still, you've got to be careful, because I feel like sometimes as well, these people, like, they kind of split personality. And so they bounce back and forth. And so be careful, that's the message for Virgo, because Virgo is the natural therapist, the natural healer. Now, your job is not to save these people. Obviously, if you can help people, help them. If you can guide them, guide them. But only do it now. This is what I would say with your energy, for people who are willing to help themselves. If you kind of observe people, and that's what Virgos do, and you can see that these people are not really helping themselves, take a step back. They're not ready for help. You're wasting your energy, you're wasting your wisdom. They don't want help. They might complain, they might cry, but they don't want help. So take a step back. There's something with Virgo. Virgo is spectacular. I mean, Virgo is just... The way Virgo thinks, its mind, its observations, the way it can read a room, like... And there could also be, okay, energetic leeches. So what I got is, energetic leeches are people who, they know your power, they can see your power, they want to leech off your wisdom. A good example is like tarot readers who are being used as therapists, but they expect the tarot reader to, do it at the bare minimum. Don't let people strip you of your power, your energy, your skill. I would say at this time, like, observe people and give people the benefit of the doubt. But like I said, if people are not willing to help themselves, stop helping them. Don't talk to them, nothing, And I think Virgo is very direct. So, and this is a message, especially for the people who are going to watch this right the way through, and people who are going to cross signs. I wouldn't say be mean, but I would definitely say, from what I've been personally observing, is you've got these people now who, they are doing one thing and acting like they're not. So they're causing a lot of problems under the surface. They're sending a lot of evil eye. They're doing a lot of bad stuff. But what they're doing is presenting like, no, I'm not doing that. And I didn't say no, I wasn't doing that. Right? And so I feel like you need to be smart now and like, call it, you know what I mean? Because I feel like with these people, they'll like try and cross the line, try and cross the line, try and cross the line. And the more they think they're getting away with it, and the more they think you won't call it, the worse they get. Okay? So I think Virgo at this time needs to conserve their energy. They need to put it into people who are of like mind, people who bring sunshine. Three of Cups is people who just like, everybody wants to win, people are decent, people support each other, it's good energy. And those people are out there. But if you surround yourself with these type of people who it's me, it's fear, it's distrust, it's I've got to win at other people's expense, you won't see those people, right? And I feel like this could be friends or family. You're observing people, you're being mostly quiet, but when you have to call it, it is brutal, it is direct. There's nothing they can go on after that. You call them out so directly, so explicitly, that they just don't even move after that. So I think people have been trying to play for the, I'll just be quiet, I just won't say nothing. But that's what these motherfuckers are getting off on. That's what they're getting off on. Like, it could be anything. It could be someone playing the race card. It could be anything, right? You call them directly. You don't hesitate. You don't fumble. Right to the face directly, okay? It tells them, I know what you're doing, and you're not doing that over here. That's what it is, okay? So anything else for Virgo at this time, please? The Hierophant. Okay, so another message at this time is your energy needs to go into discipline. And that's what I'm getting. Some of you could be this person who you've kind of been in the tower, and now you're opening yourself up and you're changing your inner state and you're changing your aura. And it's so powerful. It's so exciting. Like, you start to see different people coming in, you start to see good people coming in. And you're not good people, because no one's good or bad, but you start to see like supportive people, people who think like you, people who you can talk to. And some of you right now, if it was me, and I can feel like the solar plexus popping and the feet are itchy. Some of you might want to work on reflexology, or maybe you'll start getting reflexology, which is the feet. So this can be going onto the earth and grounding our energy, especially if you're going through a dark night of the soul, or you're going through something, you know, because what happens there is your nervous system breaks down. The tower is a nervous breakdown. So if I see the tower in a personal read, it's a nervous breakdown. Okay, but a lot of things can be stopped, right, with the right things. So some of you right now, if you're in a bad place, getting out into the green, walking on the earth, reflexology, all of these things, it helps all the nerves in the feet. And when we calm our nerves in our feet, we calm our nerves in our nervous system, and we calm our mind. There is no mental illness, I don't believe. There is, like, for example, if a person's prefrontal cortex erodes, or they erode to the point of then they become unconscious and they can no longer regulate from the prefrontal cortex. But I don't see that as a mental problem. I see it as a behavioural problem. In other words, because maybe they've been drinking, maybe they've been addicts, the prefrontal cortex will erode. And so once your prefrontal cortex erodes and your black matter, and the grey matter in your brain erodes, you can no longer regulate yourself. So whatever's programmed in your unconscious mind, you'll act it out. That's it. Okay? So this is a conversation for another day, but I know Virgos can receive that. This, for me, if I were you, for some of years, it's if you get around like-minded people now. I'm getting opening coffee shops. I'm getting starting a business. I'm getting, there's a passion that Virgo has got. And I think that's what you need to do. Instead of running around, fixing everyone else, helping everyone else for the bare minimum, letting them leech off your energy, deplete you, focus on yourself. And focus on people who appreciate you. Virgos, similar to Gemini, we naturally like to coach people and help people. Just make sure the people who you're helping are helping themselves, because then you feel filled up. You feel like you're supporting people. They feel filled up, and it's a win-win, okay? Love that reading for you, Virgo, okay? So who have we got now? Libra. Okay, so what are we seeing for Libra, please? What is a message for Libra at this time? So we do have the Wheel of Fortune reversed, okay? So for some Libras at this time, the Wheel of Fortune reversed is the 7th house of home and family. Okay, so it could be at this time, maybe your energy is affected by family. It could also be if people in our life are going through a hard time, this can affect our energy. Right, because naturally when we love people and those people are being challenged or tested, I also heard homelessness. So this might be you. It could also be somebody else within your family, okay? But for Libras at this time with the Wheel of Fortune reversed, it could also be, because this is in more of an energetic read, Libra is at its wit's end with a home, with family, okay? So let's get more on this. We do have the High Priestess, okay? So some of you right now, you're figuring out what to do, okay? You need to stay hopeful. So I feel like the message for Libra at this time is like, no matter what your situation is, even if it's dire, stay hopeful, have faith. So some of you right now, it looks a bit like you're going through bad luck, or it looks like the universe is like turning on you, but it's not. It's just what goes up comes down. We have hard times, we have good times, right? If you're in the storm, you'll come out of it, right? But I feel like the message right now is with the High Priestess is you need to conserve your energy, right? And the Star card is being hopeful and having faith, because you can turn it around. I'm also getting that Libra is being tested in some way. And what looks like bad luck, there's no point getting frustrated and angry, because this is working for you. Like, there is some things that happen in our life where it's like, why is this happening? What the... Because, but what I get for Libras right now is you're wasting energy, because this is working for you. This could be the loss of a job. This could be the loss of a home. This could be, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy, right? But I'm saying when we go through the worst types of challenges in our life, if we try to revise, and that's a gangster. That's a gangster. And it's a true believer. See, everyone believes in God, and they all believe in until they're tested. Sometimes God, the creator, the universe, whatever, because this is the universe, needs to drag your life from underneath your feet. Take it all, right? And in the moment, you won't understand it and you'll feel like it's punishment. But actually, if you lead by faith, not by fear, on the other side, you'll be like, do you know what? It couldn't have happened any other way, you know? But it doesn't mean it's not scary. But that's why they do say life is not for the weak. And this is the problem with the modern generation. That is, a lot of the problems is weakness. It's entitlement. It's, this shouldn't be happening to me. It's like, you know? And it's people trying to live in comfort zones, and it's people trying to play it safe, and it just comes with damage, right? And then there's sometimes things in our life that maybe we don't deserve, or we feel like we don't deserve, or we don't understand. But on the other side, you'll see God's got you. So I think there's a message for Libra at this time to, for me, the star card will be somebody who is working on frequency, working on aura. Some of you right now, I would also say what you're sending out is mirroring back. You're creating it. So the Wheel of Fortune, because the Wheel of Fortune upright is Jupiter, so it's expansion, it's good luck. This reversed is where we're thinking bad thoughts, we're thinking in the worst case scenario. And so what we think, we create as an emotion. Or amygdala, fear, fear, fear. And then the fear becomes energy, it becomes frequency, and it becomes reality. So I think Libras at this time, if you want to help yourself, some things you can't, it's as Steve Jobs said, right? You can't connect the dots looking forward, only looking back. And there's a message for Libra in that right now. Right? Don't try to understand. Try to calm yourself, try to have faith, try to trust. In time, you'll understand. In time, it will make sense. Again, this is a generic read, right? It's just generic energetic guidance. You can get a personal, but it's, you're going to know what your personal is, right? In other words, what you're personally facing. But I feel like there's a strong message at this time for Libra, which is, this is coming up strongly as the inner world, and it's coming up as frequency, and this is bad luck. Right? So be careful with your thoughts, because thoughts create emotions, emotions create energy, energy creates frequency, and frequency creates reality. And listen, when you're in the dog shit and life just doesn't seem like it's on your side, the natural thing is to be in fear. That's primal, that's normal. But all it will do is create more bad luck, more disconnection, and that's it. Okay? We're on a journey. See the Nine of Wands? So the Nine of Wands is fear. It's energetic fear. The other side of the coin is, for some Libras, I don't think that this is you. For some Libras, that's why I feel like if you've watched as the collective, so I feel like some people have sat through this whole thing, or they will sit through this whole thing. And I think this is really awesome video. Really, really, I really love this. So I feel like it's about some of you Libras, it's not you. It's people in your family. It's people in the community, right? And maybe you're picking that up energetically. And I remember I met this rich millionaire who was a Libra, and he said, don't put your fears on me. He wasn't talking about me. He was talking about, how he built businesses, bought hotels, property, all of this. And he said, I just noticed that whether it be family or whether it be people, they were constantly trying to project onto me. But I did like his response, because he said, I said to them, don't put your limitations on me. Don't put your fears on me. And you can call people out to the face and tell them this, or you can just be so strong within your own energetics that people can say whatever they want. People can project whatever they want. It doesn't matter. It's deaf ears, Because I do think there's a lot of people out here who, through their own limitations, through their own lack, they want other people to be the same. That's why they say, if you're around people who are down, they want you to be down with them, right? And I do think there's a lot of negativity out here, So maybe some of you Libras, that's what this is about, keeping your head down. See that energy. Don't let people stoke your fire. Three of Pentacles. This could also be jealous people, especially family, people who are down on the luck, people who are projecting. The Hangman. Okay? So, the final message is the Sun. The final message is the sun. So, and like I said, for the Libras, you have to remember the sign that you are. Watch out at this time for an Aries and watch out at this time for a Gemini. There's also Virgo and there's also Aquarius. Some of years it could also be maybe you are of this sign. Maybe you're dealing with a Libra who's down on the luck and they're doing this to you. I feel like the other message at this time is the sun is about trust. It's about power. It's about conviction. It's about, you know, being inspired. Because I know this through my life, and I've done a lot in my life, and I've been through a lot in my life. You know, and I know this, and I've met a lot of negative people in my life. I've met a lot of people who just want ill will for me. They just want bad for me. Some people just, I don't know why, and some people because, like I said, they're down in their own luck and they just don't like to see a person who's tough and tenacious and not limited. Some of you might need to rid yourself of certain family. I feel like these people just bring not, look, they bring nothing but conflict, they bring nothing but stress. That's it. Some people are just plain fake, they're plain toxic, they live in a matrix mentality, everything is competition. You know, you can't win and they can't win at the same time. If someone wins, someone else must lose. You know, it's that type of thinking. So some of you Libras, I do think it's time to, you know, revise basically. And if you're cross-watching and it's a Libra who's acting like this, I think it's no concessions. Do you know what I mean? I think there's too many concessions out here for bad behaviour, and it's time to put our foot down. Okay, so that's what I'm getting. But I love this. I think there's a strong message for the Libras who you're on a journey right now, and I feel like the journey you're on, even though it looks like maybe the universe is not supporting you in this loss, in this difficult trial, I promise you now, and I know this for a fact, on the other side of this, it's going to make a lot of sense. So you might as well not spend the time in your head, right, trying to... Remember, sometimes what people do is they try to understand things before they're ready. And you're just wasting time. Because sometimes you can only understand things when you've travelled the journey. You have to travel the journey. And then as you... It's a bit like when you're playing a game. You're playing a game. And you keep messing up and you don't understand the game. And you keep making mistakes. But then you go through the game a bit, and then you start picking it up, and you're like, oh, okay, you know. So some of you is like, stop trying to work it out through your mind, right? Stop wasting energy. Travel the journey, even if it's difficult, and the journey will reveal itself, and so will the wisdom, and so will the lesson. Okay, so I love that for you. Okay, and also for the people who are kind of like Elisa, like, where's my sign? I'm working hard trying to get the signs out, okay? But you can see with the YouTube, they're just not pushing the content. It's like, I've got 100,000 subscribers and I'm getting 200 views on a video. That's why everybody who watches this, please just like, it doesn't even matter, just comment a heart, just comment, right? Just show the feedback, because it just shows the algorithm, you know, we're interested in the content, we want to see more, and then, you know, I'm going to start working on it though. But I took a big break from YouTube, and you know, naturally I'm not just going to come back and be hitting the big views. It doesn't work like that. Obviously I took a step back, and that's perfectly fine. I'm happy I did, and yeah, that's fine. But if you truly watch this and you support me and you fuck with me, like, just like the video and comments. Okay, thank you. Okay, so who are we doing now? Libra. If I've missed anyone, I'm sorry. Okay, let's do Scorpio. Okay. Okay, so for Scorpio, I feel like for the Scorpio woman, I feel like you might be dealing with an Aries, or you're dealing with, it could be a Gemini, it could be any sign, I don't, because it's genetic. But I feel like for Scorpio, be careful, because with the Four of Cups, I feel like you're dealing with someone who's not your divine masculine. So you've got the Emperor reversed, right? This person is not your divine masculine. I feel like some of you are discontent right now in a career, okay? You want more money, you want more wealth, you want more sustenance. But I feel like, excuse me, some of you, I drank fizzy drink and I've been burping. Some of you, you're sitting around and you're kind of brooding. So right now, I feel like for Scorpios, Leo just came out, you are brooding. Some of you might be brooding over a Leo, right? But some of you, what I'm getting is you're kind of brooding and it's not changing anything. I feel like right now you need to, some of you could be in a job, maybe your boss is a Leo. The person we're having problems with who's affecting our energy is not always romantic. Sometimes it's our boss. You know, sometimes it's a family member, sometimes it's an environment, right? But I feel like a big message for you at this time is your energy is kind of sunken. It might be like a little bit depressed. It might be a bit like kind of you're not taking action. Yeah, Six of Pentacles, right? Some of yous are kind of triggered and you're putting your energy into something that's one-sided. So you're begging for time, you're begging for respect. When I'm envisioning Leo, I keep saying Leo, so there's something there, but when I'm envisioning Scorpio, and I think I've got a read for you that I'll upload, it's a career. So I feel like some of you, the emperor is your boss, you're working a job, and I feel like this person, like, you're just not happy in the job, or you're not happy in the career, but you're not really helping yourself. In other words, you're complaining and you're brooding, and I feel like your energy's kind of unmotivated, but it's like, are you going to sit around and complain, or are you going to get up and fix it? I also feel like for the Scorpio woman, Leo came out repeatedly, so some of you might be dealing with a Leo. If you're a Leo, you could be dealing with a Scorpio. But I feel like there's something about one person is really investing, one person is really putting the energy in, but the other person's just not playing it back. Okay? So this energy is the most expensive currency to man, not money, nothing. Because without energy, right, it's like when you have health problems and you have fatigue and limited energy. Without energy, we have nothing. Everything is created from energy, right? So money is created from energy, love is created from energy. All of these things are, you know, our career, our business, the things we put our energy into, they either feed back or they deplete. They either give us good stuff or they give us bad stuff, right? So Scorpios right now, I think you're brooding. I think you're brooding because you feel like you're really, really given to this business, or there's a sense of maybe as well, you've got blocked energy. So for example, your sacral, and it's not just your sacral, you've got your crown chakra, you've got your solar plexus, you've got your root chakra. You know, sometimes we really want to follow our dreams, but we stay in that job and we torment ourselves, and it affects our energy and it affects our well-being because our root chakra is blocked, right? And so because our root chakra is blocked, it's telling us, it's like, oh no, you need to stay here because we need to pay the bills, and you know, we can't start a business, and so this can be reasons why we also don't act. If you work on your energy at this time, then you might find that with unblocking these areas, that you start having this confidence to move forward. Okay. Leo's coming up again. Okay. I feel like for Scorpio there's an unhappiness because it could also be another message is around sedentary energy. So in other words, if our energy is not utilized, if it's not expressed, if it's not invested, then nothing's being created. So some of you, Scorpio, you've got blocked energy, and then with the Hermit reversed, with the Two of Wands reversed, it's kind of your energy is not going into maybe potentially the places you'd like it to go into. You're dissatisfied, you're not happy, but you're not doing the energetic work, you're not doing the clearing work, you're not putting, you know, in other words, the universe works and this is the problem. The world works by what we put in, we get back. That's it. Right? If I don't put the energy in, I'm not getting nothing back. Right? If I'm complacent in my energy, if I've got blocks in my energy. So for some Scorpios, I think there's a message here, rather than brooding, rather than complaining, rather than blaming your boss, for the Scorpio woman, rather than blaming this man who's just, he's not invested. Some of you are dealing with someone who's not single. I feel like this person is married and you're wasting your time. Like, I don't see this person building a life with you. Or some of you are dealing with like an Andrew Tate. Okay, so what I mean by this is, and I'm not anti-Andrew Tate, I'm not saying I like the guy too much, I don't hate the guy either. I think he has a lot of wisdom, you know, but kind of that type of man who, you know, he has women and he's got money and he's got luxury, and he's just not that invested, he's not that bothered, you know. So I feel like for some of you Scorpio women, you're wasting your time because your energy is just, it's pointless. It's kind of like a Scorpio needs emotional investment, right? You need to be with somebody who's feeding back into you, right? That makes you feel good energetically. If you're with someone who's kind of like not really bothered, You know, they might spend time with you, but they're just not feeding you emotionally. It's going to lead to resentment. It's going to lead to trigger. It's going to lead to brooding. Because Scorpios, that's what they tend to do, right? If they're not getting what they want in life, they brood because they're very intense. But they might not brood outward, but that people will definitely sense it, right? But they'll brood within, and then that affects their energy. So I feel like some of you are wasting your time. And then there's a big message at this time for Scorpio that some of you might want to be a star. So I'm kind of getting right now you're living in a survival state. In other words, you're doing a job to do a job. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've got bills to pay. You don't want to be on the streets. I get that, right? But there's a message here that your energy, your spirit is craving stardom. Now, what we mean by that is it could be anything. It could be you want to be a musician, you want to be you want to be an artist, something like that. I feel like for the Scorpios, and this is not going to be all Scorpios, but you're unhappy. Your energy is not being utilized. Energy isn't just about the action, it's about passion. Energy is what we put our passions. It's where our energy feels alive. It feels excited. It wants to get out of bed. It's driven, right? If we're putting ourselves into, and there's nothing wrong with normal jobs, respectable, right? Sometimes we have to stepping stone. But if we just kind of go into a job where it's just, I feel like there's a dead energy here. Like it's just dead. It's dead. And so there's an option for Scorpio at this time some of you, again, you're definitely putting your energy into somebody who this person is nonchalant. This person does not give a shit. I mean, they'll keep you around, they'll use you. I feel like this person as well is like someone who's like, I'm not using you. Like, you're choosing to be here. You're choosing to sleep, which is true. So maybe this person in their mind, like they don't even see it as they're using you. Because they see it as they've been honest, they've been transparent, and you're doing it to yourself. And sometimes you are. Sometimes you meet a guy, and I think the Emperor upright is someone who's very transparent. Emperors tend to be very honest, like Andrew Tate. You might not like him, but he's honest, right? And some of you Scorpio women, I feel like this man's being honest. He's told you, like, it's just not that for me. But you're kind of, you want to hold on because you like the guy. But then part of you is also kind of sulking and brooding and triggered because you're not getting what you want, right? And then some of you are kind of just, blooming out. Some of you, you're just kind of you're stuck in a rut. And it's kind of, your life is going through the motions. And I feel like your energy is either blocked or it's dead. And there is deep within you somebody who wants to create. And I would suggest that as well. I'm a Pisces moon and I'm a Gemini. In my past I was a fashion designer. I used to draw, all of this. And I've just picked drawing back up. And not for nothing, not to put on the Instagram or the TikTok. I draw a parrot today. So funny. And it's not the best, but if you looked at it, you'd know it's a parrot, so it's not bad because I haven't drawn it in years. But I feel like for some of you Scorpios, that's the message, If you want to really step into your best potential, create. Don't create for money. Don't think about a business right now. Don't think about a career. Just whatever it is. Maybe it's a musical instrument. Because what that does is it tells the body, it tells the energy, I'm reconnecting. And then what will be long term is maybe you'll start drawing and creating and it'll become a career. Maybe you'll become a musician. I feel like that's the message at this time. But I feel like for some of you Scorpio women, when it comes to this man and when I connect with this man, and it's not going to be for all years, it's dead energy. It's neutral. It's blasé. It's just blasé, right? You deserve better. Scorpios are fucking magical people, and you deserve love, and you deserve investment, and you deserve poetry, and you deserve magic. And sometimes, like, we just have to be honest that, like, certain people cannot give us that. Matrix people can certainly not give it to you because conservative people and matrix people are very limited people. They live for houses, they live for cars, they live for money. They don't live for magic. Everything is money, cars, and crap, right? Which is fine. Do you? If that's the thing that you want, that's their journey. But I feel like Scorpios now, it's time to rise up. And instead of going for the big change, go for the small one. The thing where you're feeling disappointed, that's the thing you need to hit. And I do feel like for some of you Scorpios, it is that you've stopped creating. Your life is mundane. Your energy is neutral. And that is not a Scorpio's journey. You're going into some job and the job is full of NPCs, matrix, people who are run by money, goals, yada, yada. That's not you. Now, maybe you'll stay there for now. No one's saying fucking burn your boats. But if outside of the job you can start creating, you're going to change your energy, right? And some of you are just going to have to be honest with yourself that you're stressing yourself out for somebody who wants to be on their own. You're stressing yourself out for somebody who's a bachelor. The hermit is unattached. He likes a solitary life. He likes to be on his own, right? And it's with the Ten of Wands coming up, you're stressing yourself out. You're carrying this burden when you can just say, this person is just not a match for me. This is what people do. They invest and then they get mad when their investment doesn't work out. And we talked about this earlier on. I do feel like no matter what sign you are, if you listen to this through, it's great coaching. And I don't say that from an egotistical point of view. It's just sometimes I will do a set of videos and I just know it's on. I just know it's on, you know. And I'm the least arrogant person, you know. And I feel like even if you just listen to this through, it's like there's so much gold in this. Like, it's like, yeah. But I'm rooting for you, Scorpio, because I never deal with Scorpios, but I just like Scorpios for some reason. I do. I feel like Scorpios, you know, the good people. Okay. We all have issues. Every sign has good, bad, you know, but Scorpios are very interesting. I think not good. I don't want to use that. I want to say interesting. Very intriguing and interesting people. Okay. So it's time, you know, clean your sacral. Okay. This is the sacral. Listen to your heart. Work on your energy. Now's the time to be flexible between two worlds. Now's the time to keep your foot in your job, right? While you work on your frequency, while you work on your creativity. And then I feel like in time, things will shift. With the masculine, I feel like it's up to you. It's completely up to you. But I do think the Scorpios who are watching this, it could be for the Scorpio man, maybe you like men, it could be for the Scorpio woman, you're wasting your time. I feel like this person who you're really stressed out over, you're giving everything to, they don't appreciate it. They just don't. This is someone who's very complacent, and I feel like this is somebody who there's almost a sense of like, it's just what you should be doing. Sometimes this is the problem, right? If a person has a lot, or they have women who, or men who do this for them, that's normal for them. It's kind of standard. It's just what you expect, you know. So I think it's time for you to close the door. I close the chapter. So actually, some of you, this could be a person who's already left your life, but your energy is still attached to this person. You're wasting your fucking time. You know, too many people are doing this. They're wasting their creative dreams. They're wasting their energy. They're doing what? This is your life. You get one, you know? It's time to go all in. It's like, and there's no rejection. There's just learning, you know? It's like, and sometimes there's also, you meet a person and you really want that person, but you know that person just doesn't want you. And the best thing you can do is just let go. And this woman who's looking at you face to face, Scorpio, you don't know. This ain't preaching, it's reality. I've been there. You know, sometimes you'd have to do things that break your heart, they break your soul, but you know, God's got you and something else will come to replace it. But I think the worst thing you can do is live like a dead life and like give your best self to people who just don't see it. It's like, no, because someone will, and it's wasted time. You know, so sometimes I think the message I'm going to leave you with is you just need to cut your losses, as painful as that may be. So check out personal reads below if you want one. Okay, so let's check Sagittarius, the absolute nemesis of the zodiac. I'm joking. Okay, so what can we see for Sagittarius? Okay, so we do have the sun. I think... okay, so there's conflicted messages here. For Sagittarius, you're in a good power now. I feel like some of yous right now, you're really building your future. Some of yous want to relocate, so you want to go live in the sun, okay? But I'm going to say right now that some of you Sagittarius is your on game. You're on game. I feel like for you right now, and Sagittarius are very good at this. They're very good at this. I think some of it is because when I said the nemesis, there was a truth to it as well. I do think Sagittarius can be very self-absorbed people, and that can be an asset. So in other words, when you're a person who really doesn't care about what people think of you, and you have a strong drive to get things, you're not going to allow the noise or the projections of other people to stop you. Okay? Now, I do think deep down, Sagittarius does like to be liked and they like to be accepted, but not at any cost. And that can be an asset. So I feel like right now, Sagittarius, especially the man, is very, very driven. You've got goals in mind. Some of you might be buying multiple properties. Maybe that's why the sun is coming up. So in other words, either you're relocating or maybe you're buying investments in foreign lands. But I think your energy is on game right now. Okay, some of yous are the opposite. I feel like there's also a message here right now that some of yous, this is your current version, but the version you can become if you really, really just tune out the noise, right? In other words, if you just say, I don't need the approval of other people. And sometimes, yes, I think you need to take a hard-headed approach. I think, yes, you need to put yourself first. And if that means you look like a nemesis, if it means that you look like the bad guy, so what? So what? I think there's too many people out here sacrificing themselves for other people, and it has to stop. People are sacrificing themselves for strangers. People are not following the dreams because they're worried about the opinion of strangers. Who are they? And like I said, there's also these people who they have this entitlement, like, I don't know you. Like, what are you doing? So I feel like some of you Sagittariuses, I would care less now. Like, I feel like with the Emperor reverse, like you're undoing yourself for like the wrong people. Like, put your energy into yourself, focus on yourself, and whatever you look like, so be it. Of course, no one's saying run over people. We're not saying that. But when it comes to the opinion of people and letting them stop you and the noise, tune it out. Because I feel like some of you, you're not in the best place right now, but where you could be if you just did this and you took this advice is a good place, right? What else? For the Sagittarius woman, again, I think you're in some kind of situationship, I'm going to say. So you've got the Emperor reversed and you've got the Six of Pentacles. The other side of the coin is for the Sagittarius woman or man who right now you are just on you. I think you'll get attacked for that, but that's part of it. So in other words, when you're focused on you, people are going to do things to gaslight, manipulate. You're all about yourself. You only care about yourself. Let them. And you should say right to the face, no, it's because you're not allowed to manipulate and exploit me, right? You're not allowed to keep me down with you, and you're just mad. You're just bitter. So sometimes you need to call it out, right? Some of your silence is going to be your best weapon. You know, you don't have to respond to the comments on social media. You don't have to. I think there's a lot of people now who are in such dire desperation for connection, for money, for anything, that they just leech. They just leech, like. And some people, it might just be that they get up on a certain day and they're feeling a certain kind of way and they need somewhere to put that. And your job is to acknowledge, and I'm not receiving that. I'm not going to let that distract me. It's also allowing people to have their opinion, because the other side of the coin is it might just be a person's opinion. You know, criticism is a part of life, and it could just be someone's opinion, and that's okay. For the Sagittarius woman, I heard a situationship, so I feel like you're giving your energy or you're giving your body to a situationship. And I feel like with that Emperor reverse, like this person is just, they're not interested in commitment. So we've got this Nine of Swords. So for me, you'd also had the Sun reversed. So I feel like the message here is, the Sun is, I think it's masculine energy. Yeah, I think it's masculine energy. The Sun is masculine. But in general, I feel like you're dealing with a masculine. Correct me in the comments if it's not, for anyone who knows this. But I'm pretty sure the Sun is masculine energy, because it's the Sun, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I feel like you're giving your body to somebody, and I feel like this person's giving the body to other people, and this is another thing women are doing. And then what that does is it can create a lot of bad energy in you. It can create a lot of demons in you. So it is very true that who we're intimate with affects our body, it affects our energy, it affects everything, okay? But some years I feel like you're dragging yourself down, you're wasting your time. The star. The star upright is someone who knows a value. The star upright is somebody who she's not gonna, like, she's beautiful. Whereas the star reversed is somebody who she's, sometimes we're settling for a certain type of man, or we're settling for the crumbs, or we're settling for it because we've got some issues in ourselves we need to heal, or sometimes it's like we're just not feeling good in ourselves. So in other words, maybe we've put on a bit of weight, maybe we're not looking our best, so a man comes into our life and he gives us less than we deserve, and we take it because we feel like, well, maybe I can't find someone else, you know, which is kind of ironic for Sagittarius women. I feel like when I've coached Sagittarius women, it's like two women I get. It's either the really powerful, really beautiful, doesn't give a shit, you know, type of woman. She can come across as arrogant and cocky, but I think it's self-preservation. I think it's confidence that looks like arrogance. And I think it's also, like I said, it's Sagittarius, like, they will put themselves before other people. I do think that. And I don't mean all the time, but I mean, I think Sagittarius have this attitude of like, I'm not going to sacrifice myself for you. If you want to stay down there and not progress, I'm not going to stay down there with you. I've got shit to do. They have a lot of energy. They have a lot of goals. Like, they just, it's not even coming from arrogance. It looks like that. And then you have the other Sagittarius. And the other Sagittarius is a nemesis. In affairs, a body's going everywhere. His body's going everywhere. Unchanneled, exploits people, uses people, cheats people, double lives. Like, I've seen it all. I've heard it all. Geminis, go on, say it. But Sagittarius, that's what I get. So I think Sagittarius right now needs to look at where it's putting its energy, and also what we do has consequences. If we're acting in dark behaviour, there's going to be consequences. Right, if we're in affairs, if we're cheating people, if we're lying, there's going to be consequences. Maybe we won't see them straight away. Maybe we'll get away with it for a short amount of time. But I'm telling you, one thing I've learned is either another person will correct you, life will correct you, or you'll undo yourself. That's why smart people know karma is real. What goes around comes around. What we put out comes back. Okay, so there's another message for some single Sagittarius women, which is around you're dropping your standards, and I think it's coming from you're not feeling good in yourself energetically, right? Maybe you are, so what, right? You put on a bit of weight, so what? You're not in your best version. You've got two choices: either fall in love with that version. Men like all different versions, you know. Certain men, like, they want a trophy, but real men just like real women, you know. So maybe you need to reframe your thinking. The other side of the coin is you can either fall in love with the version you are and honour that version, right? Because you're a soul, you're a spirit, and then you're a body. Not wrong with our body, it takes a big weight. But I'm saying ultimately you're a soul and a spirit. Or you can drop the chip and you can fix the problem. So it's like, okay, I'm going to get in the gym, I'm going to work on my healing, I'm going to work on my energy, I'm going to come back to where I feel really good about myself, so I'm not dropping my standards for this person who's not giving me a commitment. They're in and out, they're dragging me, they're making me beg. Okay? Seven of Wands. Okay, so if you're a personal trainer or you want to be an athlete, the Seven of Wands is like, I feel like some of you, like I said, for some of you Sagittarius right now, you are on game. On game. And I do think right now your biggest problem might be kind of energetic attacks or evil eye from other people. But again, it's just because I feel like these people, they're envious and they're jealous, and they watch a person who's in the power, and that just rubs off them. It fucks them off. Because at the end of the day, it's like they're watching you do all the things that they want to do that they refuse to do, you know, or they're just jealous, you know. So I don't think you should distract yourself and drop yourself or overly focus. You should stay focused and keep going. Okay, let's see, anything else? It's going to be good for Sagittarius who are really head down and working hard at this time. I feel like there's a lot of good coming. For the other Sagittarius, I feel like it's time to heal yourself. It's time to love yourself. Some of you need to clean your sacral. So for the Sagittarius woman, I'm also getting a Sagittarius woman who is single, and your energy, like this self-pleasure. So the start is masturbation. So this can be self-pleasure will help a lot, especially if you're finding that through a lack of partner, because obviously you're a fire sign, you could be finding that through a lack of partner, you're feeling more angry, more aggressive, right? Sexual energy is a thing, right? And if it's pent up, it can really affect our behaviour. It can lead to addictions, all of this. I'm a true believer in this. And so some of you, I feel like the start is self-pleasure, etc. Again, you need to determine what you're comfortable with. And then the Ace of Cups is orgasm, filling up your own cup, falling in love with yourself again, and then you'll get the relationship you want. Okay. For the Sagittarius, I'm going to finish on who are destructive. I heard you're making enemies. This is also someone who ends up with a lot on the back. So they end up very energetically burdened, because we do have I feel like you're dealing with someone who's in a relationship, and you do have this Queen of Wands, so that's you. But I feel like you're dealing with somebody who's with somebody else. This person is already married, already committed. And I think long term, not only will this person end it with you, but then the Ten of Wands is where you end up. I feel like there's a sense here of like somebody who, and it's a Sagittarius woman, this is somebody who like they have no conscience. You know, and part of you at this time might feel like the consequences won't come. You might feel like no, there's someone who's doing something here, and it's a Sagittarius, or maybe it's someone who's cross-watching for a Sagittarius, but I feel like there's someone who's, maybe this is a person who's doing it to you. Like, if it seems at this time that this person has no conscience, but over time, they end up in the Ten of Wands. Okay? So someone needs to be careful with their actions at this time and their energy. I would also say as well, because we talked about the energy, if you are intimate with a lot of people over time, that can lead to real problems energetically. It can lead to trauma, demons. You need to look into this for yourself. Cleansing is coming up here. Acting right here is coming up here. Being transparent with people is coming up here. Being aware that what we put out comes back. Remember the single Sagittarius. So in other words, when we put that fear out there that we're not good enough, we just bring in the men who just, they clarify that. You know? So you're good enough, you always was and you always will be, no matter if you're bigger, smaller, in your mess phase, in your glow up phase, you'll always be worth it. You know? And like I said, there is some Sagittarius women who, yes, you're very beautiful, but you know, be careful with the devil. Be careful with the devil. This is where we do things in our youth, or we exploit people and we use people and we disregard people, and then in time we suffer a high price. It's not smart. You've got to understand that if you're coming from the divine concept that God does not take well to a masculine who abuses the feminine and a feminine who abuses the masculine. This is where we abuse people, we use people, we step on people, but what goes up comes down. And everything comes full circle. You know, I'm not saying be careful, sometimes we fuck up, you know, sometimes we do stuff, you know. Maybe some of you, that's what you're doing, you kind of, this is repentance. It's repentance, right? This can be addictions that are affecting you. It can be a hypersex drive, you know. So this can be repentance. This is going back to the holy, going back to the holy cup, the divine. It's cleansing. Some of you need to open up your third eye right now. So there could also be a message for Sagittarius. When we're in our third eye, we're not acting from our higher self. We're kind of wrapped up in our current reality. Some of you, what I would say, is work on your sacral. Some of you need to work on your root chakra. Some of you need to work on your crown chakra. Because the reality that you're currently stuck in, or what your energy is currently stuck in, is not getting you what you want. You're living day to day, you're living from your pleasure, you're living from your desire, or you're living from your fear. When you open your crown chakra, you're living from your highest version. The crown is the conscience, right? It's the crown is the divine conscience. You know? So there is somebody here, like I said, you might be cross-watching for a Sagittarius, it might be a Sagittarius, I'm not projecting, I don't know, it's general guidance, but I'm getting someone here who has absolutely no compassion, they have absolute arrogance, that what they're doing is not going to come with consequences, okay? But other than that, I think it's a very inspiring read. I personally love this for Sagittarius. I feel like you're in, like I said, you're on game. And don't let people detract, and don't let people distract, and don't let people pull you back to their level. If you want to come up here with me, I'm happy to help, but if you want to stay down there, fuck off. No. Okay? No. Because I think people do this where they get on and just don't really care, don't care like what people are thinking or what people are commenting. And then there will be people, and I know I do this, where they will give you constructive criticism. Not every criticism is an attack. Sometimes it's good. And if you're not in your ego, you can listen and go, actually, I should listen to that. If that feels right. You know, it feels right to me. You know, because sometimes we are stepping over the line. Sometimes we are getting wrapped up in ourselves. You know, sometimes people pass comment and it's fair comment, you know. And a healthy person is able to say, oh, yeah, well, I'll slow down a bit. Sorry, I didn't know I was coming across like that. You know, it's a toxic person or an egotistical person. They can't do that because their ego's so big. And it does nothing for them. They lose friends, they lose family, they lose opportunity. You know? So there's something in that for you. So like I said, on the website, there is actually what would my highest self do? And this is for people right now who they're struggling with something and they want to make a decision. It's a new edition. And if you go to the website, it's brand new and I've really been working on different ideas. But this is a new edition. There's also a deal on the 6 month for the rest of this week and then it goes off. So if you want a personal read, I hope you did enjoy this. Join the membership, price of a coffee a month. You can show support to the channel, like the video, comment, watch your other signs. You know, creating these videos takes a lot of energy, you know, and I give a lot of wisdom and I'm very good at what I do. And it'd be nice to just see, you know, a few more likes and just some comments, you know, from the decent people who just take a second. I know people are busy and they watch the video, but just take a second, like the video, comment. You can join the membership. I've got a new endorsement. So this is somewhere where you talk to some top rated psychics. That's also below. But I hope you enjoyed this and I was quite busy. But this kept coming up and I was like, I should do this video for them. But this is a nice geek for anybody who just wants to spend a couple of hours and they haven't seen me for a while. So enjoy and I'll speak to you soon.